My name is Melissa White, and it is my pleasure to serve as your facilitator for this session. Our presenter for How to Rock a Talk Like Ted, Lefford Faith Distinguished Toastmaster. Lefford is a Tedx speaker, trainer, and coach. He is a lead coach for Tedx Dupree Park, Tedx St. George, and Tedx Cincinnati. He works hard to coach speakers, and in the past few years, he has taught coaches how to coach speakers for the TED stage. He has trained and coached dozens of TEDx speakers across the country and worldwide, not only to give a talk, but to rock that talk. In the next 50 minutes, you will discover 10 essential elements of a TED Talk and how to put those pieces together to rock your own talk. You may be asking, why should I listen to this guy? Well, in 2016, in Charleston, South Carolina, Lefford took the stage in front of 1,000 people in the audience and 5,000 people online and delivered the talk of his life. His talk, Correcting Corrections, Why Am I in Prison, has garnered over 500,000 views. The lessons he learned from his experience is what he is passing on to you. District 58, please help me welcome Lefford Faith Distinguished Toastmaster, How to Rock a Talk Like Ted.
That was amazing. Now, for the folks, am I coming up lined up? Because I move out of the frame a lot. Thank you for that. That was amazing. You need to teach me before I introduce Mark Brown for tomorrow, because you did that way better than I did it. So, how to rock a TED Talk, and what's important about rocking? Can you, Nicholas? Can you hook me up with this? Thank you for being here. This is huge for me. How to rock a TED Talk. Do me a favor, raise your hand online or put it in the chat. Have you ever watched a TED Talk? Raise your hand if you've ever watched a TED Talk. So out of everybody here, we only got one that has not. Do you want to give a TED Talk for the people that are in it? All right, Leila, I don't know. All right, so this is what we'd like to do. I'd like to share some lessons that I've learned over the last few years since 2016 on how you can rock your own TED Talk. I've met and seen a lot of amazing speakers in these clubs, in this district, and around the country. And many of those people have ideas worth spreading and worth sharing, and I'm sure you do too. One of the things that I found is that many people, that even though they have all this greatness inside them, they don't know how to get it out. They don't know how to get it out. And by the end of this 50 minutes, we can start you on the journey so you'll be able to do it. Now, I'll go ahead and say it now. If you go to leffordfaith.com, and for the people that are online, there'll be a link dropped in there. I have not these slides, but I have the 10 essential elements from Kathy Arminius that will help you rock any talk that you give, but especially how to rock a TED Talk, because that's why we're here. And that's why I think I can bring something to you. So I'm gonna give you a quick 2 seconds to look at it and then ask a question. What does TED stand for?
Technology, education, technology, entertainment, design.
You are brilliant. Technology, entertainment, and design. TED was started in 1984, and the first event actually had 3 major players: ebooks, CD players, and some video that they do now with like Pixar, those type things. Those are the first 3 things in 1984. Now I gotta be honest, when I first got into the TED world, I had no idea that it was that old. I mean, I thought it was a new thing like in 2000, but it started in 1984. And one of the first things that they talk about is, this is what a CD is. Now, I do a lot of teaching with high schoolers and middle schoolers. And I'm talking about CDs and all that, and they're like, they don't do CDs anymore. I was like, so y'all don't know what a Walkman is either, don't they? They're blank eyes. Like, a Walkman, no, bro, we do not know what a Walkman is. TED is taking the world by storm. I know we're Toastmasters. Toastmasters been around for a long time, but you think about it, in 1984, they had the first TED Talk. 6 talks online in 2006, 1 million views by September. 2012, there's over 1 billion views, now 3 billion a month. 3 billion with a B, that's a lot per month. And the cool thing about it, we're learning a lot about this right now, Lee, because TED is ideas worth spreading. It is ideas worth spreading. Do you have an idea in you that is worth not only spreading, but sharing with someone? Do you have an idea worth spreading? Really? It's funny. International director, correct?
Right.
Correct.
Right.
Been around the world, done a lot of things, and he paused when I asked the question, do you have an idea what's spreading? I know you do. This is one of my big problems. That's one of the reasons I'm here. Is because so many people got so many brilliant things in their mind. And they're, and like Les Brown, I've been talking about Les for the last little bit. If we're not careful, those ideas will die in us. And it is not just a shame for us to have our ideas die within us. It's a shame when somebody that we can reach out and touch and help, we've deprived them of the opportunity to get that message to do something with it in their lives. I gave a talk the same year that a young lady gave a talk about the Charleston 9. You remember the murder at Mother Emanuel? She gave a powerful speech. Please go take a look at the speech. We'll put it in the chat later. But it was such a powerful, powerful speech. She's got 5,000 views. In my mind, her presentation was 100 times more powerful than mine. But what happened was after she gave the talk, she put it down and she left it there. This is important. If the message is worth spreading, it's worth spreading on all platforms. We got to have a passion for that message. It's got to be something that's really important to you and you feel it is an idea that you want to get out to the world because it's just that important. Does that make sense? The reality is TED Talks are not made for the professional speaker. It's not made for it. Now, it's not saying that you can't because you're professional and that we should because we're professional. What it means is that that's not the design. What that means is that anybody with an idea can get up, they can share their information, they can share their passions with the world, and it will matter. It will matter. It's not just like you got to be this, you got to be, no. Every one of us can be a TED speaker. All you got to do is know how. Now, to be honest, there are a lot of famous people that's giving talks. The Gateses, the Clintons, the Bonos, all these people are famous and they're doing big things, but they didn't get the biggest numbers. The biggest numbers, the top big talks are people that many people didn't even know anything about. They didn't know anything about them. They didn't become famous until after they spoke. Simon Sinek, Brene Brown, and Cameron Russell became famous because of what they wrote. I love Simon Sinek I'm a military guy, spent almost 31 years in the United States Air Force. Almost every airman, thank you for that. Almost every airman I know knows about Simon Sinek. Leaders eat last, start with why. All of these powerful things. He became famous and powerful based on an idea that he spread. Imagine this if you would. You give a talk, 5 to 7 minute speech in Toastmasters, amazing, world champions, do a lot of great things. I know people that have no idea who Mark Brown is. That's a shame. That is a shame. But I don't know very many people that don't know who Simon Sinek is, especially people in leadership roles. So it's important. These are things that we can do if we get an opportunity to be a TED speaker. That's going to be amazing for us. There you go. This guy, tall, dark, and not so handsome, got up on a stage in 2016 in front of 1,000 people. And again, get to talk my life. And the interesting thing about this is that 6 months prior, I would never seen myself there. It was, I'm not going to call it a dare, but I have a mentor by the name of Douglas Wilson. And Douglas was talking, everybody said, yeah, we know that. But Douglas was talking to me about these TED Talks, and he was talking to me about how powerful they're. So I started doing some investigation and started looking at them. And had a friend sent me a talk about the lollipop moment. If you've not seen the lollipop moment on TED, you got to watch it. It's one of the most powerful presentations, and it will touch you. And it talked about how a lollipop moment is something that somebody that you may never see again may say something to you that can change your life. And if they decided not to say anything, things happen, right? So I watched that, and then I start getting curious, and then I start thinking about ideas. And then in Charleston, South Carolina, they had an opening for a call for speakers. And I was thinking about what's important to me? What is an idea that I want to spread? And the idea that I wanted to spread was this, that people are being incarcerated, not because they did anything bad or not because they were evil people. They were incarcerated because they were mentally ill. And I knew that 1 in 5 people have some type of mental health issue. I knew that. And I was thinking, what can I do to help with that? So those were, to me, that's where ideas come from. I see something, I'm thinking about something. What is it that I can do to help in that situation? And so I came up with that opportunity, and I found myself in front of 1,000 people. Now, I was an airman, I've deployed, I've been in combat, I've been in front of a lot of people. That scared me. It scared me, and the reason it scared me is that what I had to share was so very important, and I didn't think I was strong enough to present it. I did not think I was the person that should be delivering that message. What does that say about me? Not much. What does it say about you? If I can do it, if I can shake those things up and get up there and do that and actually impact our country, then you have something to say also. The result of this is not that I travel around the world. I have. The result of this, not that I had opportunities to speak in a lot of places, even though it is. The result of this is that South Carolina changed the law that every law enforcement person must have 8 hours of mental health training so they can identify people that have mental health issues, so they can understand if they're being bad or if they're sick. Hugely important. We have saved lives based on that. And again, it's just little old me had an opportunity to get up in front of a group of people and to share an idea. So what idea is going on in your head now, or something that you can develop that you think, if I do this, something can be better in our world? The reality is there's a lot of things that can be better in our country. We have a wonderful country, but all of us know something that if we tweaked it, it will make it just that much better. These are the 10 essential elements of a TED Talk. Universal theme, catchphrases, supporting evidence, memorable models, cool factor, powerful visuals, emotional connection, low point, twist moment, authenticity, and openness. I don't have time to give you all, but if you go to leftwardfaith.com, you click on How to Rock a TED Talk, you can download all of this information and you'll get it. I promise you, I'm not going to reach out to you. I'm not going to put you on my list. You're not going to get anything from me. Not going to do it, right? I don't want to do that. I just want to offer this to you because I know I can't give it to you. So we're going to go over a few that'll be very helpful. Universal theme. What is a universal theme, Melissa, in your mind?
Universal theme. Something that is practical, that is useful, something, an issue that people can relate to.
Great answer. And I'm going to jump on it because that people can relate to, everybody can relate to. A lot of times we're doing this because we're business owners now. Many of us, we're looking for the niche that will make us rich. We're only talking to one small subset. When you're giving a talk, the universal theme should be something that connects a lot of different people across a lot of different platforms. I remember when I brought up a talk, I said, you know, everybody knows somebody that's a president. Everybody knows somebody that's got some kind of mental illness. And I talked to a lot of people who said, no, I don't. What do you mean? Doesn't it? I said, just because your family knows everybody that's in prison, and just because your family got a bunch of mental ill people in there, doesn't mean that mine does. So what I had to do was do what Mark Brown did this morning. He was able to have a theme based on, for our population, Toastmasters and an anthill. He was able to connect what an anthill and what Toastmasters meant and how every one of us was affected by that thought process. So he made it universal. So whatever talk you give when you're developing an idea, how does it affect your neighbors? How does it affect your neighbors? So a lot of people didn't know anybody in prison, but I know a lot of people that like money. They pay attention and they don't like to pay a lot of taxes. Raise your hand if you want to pay big taxes. Nobody, right? So what I said was, this is how much it costs to treat somebody in the community. $8,000. In an incarcerated person, $30,000 to $40,000, and that was in 2016. It's probably going to double that now, how much it costs. So what it was, I was able to connect a thing that not everybody would care about. You need to connect it so other people can. So when you're talking, when you're presenting, how can my message touch everybody? Let's forget about the niche that'll make you itch. Let's think about the theme that can touch everybody and help a lot of people. Ash Beckham did a talk, and she is a self-proclaimed. This is what she said. I didn't say it about it. She said that I am a militant lesbian. And I was saying, how in the world could that connect with me? But what she did to connect with me, she said, every one of us has a conversation that need to be had. Somebody said something, somebody's done something. We should have said something that we didn't do. Every one of us has a conversation that we should be having. And so she touched me with that. And that's what we're talking about when we say a universal thing, something that can connect with everyone. The next thing is supporting evidence. And I'm glad, I'm apologizing in advance that Glenn's not here. Not really. But I love picking on Glenn. But supporting evidence. I always talk about Glenn, but Glenn will throw something out. No evidence. He might have it, but he won't give it to you. You throw it out. When we're throwing something out, when we have an idea, it can't just be our belief in it. It just can't be something that we want to happen. We got to have some type of supporting evidence, a primary source or something that I can say, Nicholas, this is why I think this way. Melissa, this is why I believe this way. Here's the details. But you just can't live with details because you know what? Logic really doesn't sell, except to a small percentage of people. The majority of us get caught up in emotional things. I will never forget, I'm 57 years old, but when Mark Brown got up on the stage and when that catch in his throat happened, when the lady Toastmaster walked for his daughter, thank you very much, my grammarian in the room, or somebody that was paying attention, thank you. But when that happened, I felt it. It was an emotional touch. It grabbed me and said, that's real for him. That's what we need to do when we're presenting something. Logic is great. We got to be smart. We got to have supported evidence. But the majority of the thing that's going to grab somebody, the brothers in the room, we said, did you feel me? You heard me? I got to feel it. And that's an emotional thing. Memorable models. When you're developing your talk, whatever you're presenting, what is a memorable model? Something that I can take a look at and see and remember, because we don't always remember the text. We remember in pictures, we remember on tangible things. The golden circle, Simon Sinek, when he was talking about why people buy into and spend lots of money and stand in line while I got a $1,500 phone in my pocket. Different sermon for a different day. They got me with that. Why? I want to be one of the cool kids. It's a memorable model. Powerful visuals. Jamie Oliver, ever hear of this guy? British chef, great. He gave a presentation talking about how we should learn to eat more healthy. And he showed this visual. He was talking about how much sugar is in the food that we consume all the time. How much sugar is in the food. And you know, I hear that stuff all the time and I don't pay attention to it. But when he brought out this wheelbarrow full of sugar cubes, this is what he said. He said, by the time our children are out of elementary school, this is how much sugar is in the milk that they drank in elementary school. Yeah, just like that. A lot of sugar. Now, why does that matter to me? I was diagnosed with prostate cancer and somebody said this. They said, sugar is candy for cancer. Sugar is candy for cancer. And so now I can see this and I'm like, oh. Before I was like, I'm not gonna add sugar. I'm not gonna put sugar in my tea. I'm gonna not put sugar in my coffee. But now I realize that it can be in my milk. It can be in my chocolate chip cookies. It can be in my bread. So now I'm thinking, how much sugar am I actually putting in? How much candy am I feeding my cancer? I'm gonna starve cancer out of my body. It gets nothing, right? So, but it's something that's a memorable model that I can put in front of me that helps me. What can you put in your presentation that's gonna help somebody else? Something that they could take a look at. Talk about prison all the time. I show this picture that says, this says way more than me talking about prison. I live in Sumter, South Carolina. I work with a lot of young Black and brown men and boys. I show this picture. Why do you think I show this picture to the folks that I've talked to in Sumter? It shows real people, but it also shows that the majority of people in this line are Black and brown. And I'm saying, and it's a subliminal message, but the people that I'm talking to, this could easily be you. This could easily be me. So that's why we use a memorable model, something that they can look at, a powerful visual that will be helpful for somebody to see something long after they hear your voice. The emotional connection, again, I already talked about Mark. He showed us a brilliant way to see, to understand this, but I want to show a short video that will grab you. There you go, you need this. I'm going to show you a video that highlights how emotion and visuals can change your idea about something. So let's rock with it.
I'm going to hold you in there.
Can you hear this?
Well, Lewis and Sharon said, diversity and opportunity and freedom of speech. I'm not letting you go back to the airport without answering a question. Well, our Constitution is a masterpiece. James Madison was a genius. Declaration of Independence is, for me, the single greatest piece of American. You don't look satisfied. Once a set of laws and then as a declaration of war, on a human moment for me. What about the people? Why? It's not the greatest country in the world, Professor. That's my answer. You're saying yes. Let's talk about fine. But Sharon, the NEA is a loser. Yeah, it counts for a penny out of a paycheck, but he gets to the cheap with everything he wants. It costs votes, it costs everything. Colleges. You know why people don't like liberals? Because they lose. If liberals are smart enough, they lose them. Come on. Yes, and with a straight face, you're gonna tell students that America is so star-spangled and awesome that we're the only ones in the world who have freedom. Canada has freedom. Japan has freedom. The UK, France, Italy, Germany, Spain, Australia, Belgium, that's free. So, 27 sovereign states in the world, like 180 of them are free. All right. And yeah, sorority girl. Just in case you accidentally wander in before you book one day or something you should know on this. There's absolutely no evidence to support the statement that we're the greatest country in the world. We're 7th in literacy, 27th in math, 22nd in science, 49th in life expectancy, 178th in infant mortality, 3rd in median household income, number 4 in labor force, and number 4 in export. We lead the world in only 3 categories: number of incarcerated citizens per capita, number of adults who believe angels are real, and defense spending, where we spend more than the next 26 countries combined. 25 homes per animal. So none of this is supposed to 20-year-old couples, but you nonetheless are without a doubt the worst period, generation, period, ever, period. So when you ask what makes us the greatest country in the world, I don't know what you're talking about. Is somebody? Sure used to be. Stood up for what was right. Fought for moral reasons. We passed laws, struck down laws for moral reasons. We waged wars on poverty, not poor people. We sacrificed and shared about our neighbors and put our money where our mouths were. We never beat our chest. We built great big things, made ungodly technological advances, explored the universe, cured disease, and cultivated the world's greatest artists and the world's greatest talent. We reached for the stars. Acted like men. We aspired to intelligence. We didn't belittle it. We didn't identify ourselves by who we voted for in the last election. We were able to do all these things and do all these things because we were informed by great men who were revered. First step in solving any problem is recognizing the result. America is not the greatest country in the world. No.
What did you feel?
Amazing.
Amazing. It is. Yeah, that's true. But how did you feel when you heard that?
Sad.
Shocked. Sad, shocked, mad, all those things. When we give a talk, when we have an idea, we're spreading it. That's the way people should feel. I don't like shooting on people, but when you have a presentation, when you speak, it needs to grab people and show. And that's the emotional side of it. I talk a lot about logic matters, but emotion is way more powerful. What do you think the most important part of a TED Talk or a TEDx talk is?
The idea?
You're brilliant. The idea is the thing that matters most. And a lot of times we give talks, it is about, there's 3 points. I want to motivate you, I want to inspire you, but the idea that you're sharing, the premise is what's used, the idea that's worth spreading. That's the most important part. And when you decide that you want to give a talk, the thing that is the most important thing, what is an idea that you want to share with people? Not only what is the idea, why do you want to share that? Why do I want to do this? Why do I want to share myself? This is the deal. I've been in Toastmasters this is my 10th year in Toastmasters. I've talked to some great, amazing people who have wonderful ideas, but they don't share them past their 5 to 7 minute speech in their club. And there's some stuff that if other people got to hear it, we could do so much better. And we need ideas right now. It's the best of times and it's the worst of times. And whenever there's worst times, bright people with great ideas can come in and change the course of the world. And that's why I think this is so important. So what is an idea that you have that's worth spreading? That if you spread it, if you told somebody, it can change lives. I'm working with a young lady now who says her idea is, what if God was a woman? If she smiled and said, that would scramble your eggs if all of a sudden we changed our world based on the fact that, what if God was a woman? Ooh, my daughter wouldn't be treated like she's treated. At least I hope not. right? Well, we make you change something. Good, bad, different, but it's an idea we're spreading, and that's important. Les Brown talks about the cold eyes, angry eyes of your dreams and your thoughts that and you're on your deathbed, they're looking at you because they were never revealed. They never got to live. Could you imagine if you come to the end of your life and there's an idea, Jessica, that's in there that you refuse to share with the world today? You're not only hurting yourself, you're hurting the world, and we don't want to do that. So my role, a part of this community, this family, is to share the idea that we all have ideas for spreading. It doesn't have to be a new idea, an old idea. What I'm noticing now with TED Talks and with the communications period is different than 10, 20 years ago. When Mark was talking about being a world champion, I asked a question. I said, Mark, if you were competing today, how would you be different? With all your understanding, all of your speaking ability, what would you do different and how would you fare? And he was like, I'm not sure how I would fare, because some of the people that he thought would win didn't. You know, there's been some changes. Lee, you can look, when you were international, did it look different from the people that are speaking now? Because they're switching. Same thing with TED. They're doing different things. It's not just this. It's just like, how do you feel? How it's a conversational style. It's not all of it, which is cool. I love that. But if I'm talking to you, if I'm really talking to you, if I was doing all of this, you'd be ready to pull your weapon, right? You know, eye contact, got to look into my eye contact. Don't look at me that hard. You know, that we have to change with the time. So it doesn't have to be something new. It can be an old twist and we can tweak it a little bit. The idea matters. Now, I'm going to go quickly through this because I want to ask you this question. And I want you to take 30 seconds to do this. And because this is why I say 30 seconds is hugely important. You have something in you. I don't know what it is. Not just playing. You have something in you. You have an idea within you. If you think too hard, your subconscious mind, your limited thinking will pounce on it and kill it. It will. So in 30 seconds, think of an idea that you want to share with the world. Don't filter it, just say it. Within the next 30 seconds, say it. What's an idea that you have that's worth spreading? Just say it. And say it out loud. Go.
With ADHD.
What about?
The help and support that they need from the community.
Or go do something with that.
I am.
What's an idea that's worth spreading? Don't think too hard, just say it.
Leadership development, is it effective?
Is it effective? Okay, that'll work. They tell us it is, but is it? Do something with it. Don't, because again, well, you know, if I say something different, Toastmasters friends will be mad at me. You know, Lee.
Dare to soar. Dare to soar.
Dare to soar. What does that mean?
Means understand what you really feel. People don't put that into words. People don't have a way of expressing many times what is their purpose in life, what is their goal in life, and they need to break free from that and soar over all that and begin to express themselves.
Do something with that idea, because it's a part. She thinks let me ask you a question, because you've had 2 minutes. How many thoughts jumped in your mind that you discarded? Honestly, how many that you like? No, that's not good enough. Oh, we said this. That's it. What is an idea that you have worked? And if you spread that idea, it can impact the world. Again, to me, if we can identify and divert people from going to prison, we can save lives. That was an idea, and it was not popular. You need to serve. You did the crime. You need to serve the time. But what I realized, and what we realized, is that a lot of people end up in prison not because of what they've done, but because of where they were raised. And if we could get in front of that, we can change lives. And so those are some of the things that we did. So you have an idea that's within you that's worth spreading. Take that idea and do something with it. Don't think too long. Don't let the enemy stop you from doing what you're supposed to do. Go out there and do it. And there are opportunities. I said this at the very last, but I'll repeat it now. And don't get caught up in, you want to give a TED Talk for $5,000, we can get you on a stage. You don't need to do that. If you got an idea, there are people in this district. I'm one of them. Mike Arnold's one of them. Mark Brown put up on a slide. He put, this is how to contact me. If you have an idea worth spreading, reach out to us and help us. Let us help you cultivate that idea and go share it. Because then our world will continue to get better. And I think that's the role on this team. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. This was awesome, at least from me. Anybody got a question or a thought that, because I said I was going to give you a chance to communicate and I didn't. So any questions about this process that I can help with?
Not a question for me, but you've done it once. Are you planning to go back to the stage and present another idea?
Yes, I actually did a couple of ideas. I did one for the pre-part, and it was not the typical TEDx talk. It was a TEDx interview. It was another way to do it. They brought me on and had me answer some questions. And I do have a talk that's brewing, and it's called Controlling the Contact. It's Controlling the Contact. I was stopped by the police and some stuff happened. It could have went either way, but I decided how it was gonna go. And so to me, it's an idea worth spreading, that no matter what happens, if you're stopped, if somebody yells at you, or if you get in an argument with somebody, you can control the contact and you can direct it in the right direction, or you can let your emotions get away with the bad stuff that happen. So that's an idea that I think is important to spread. So yes, I have some. There's a guy that's done dozens of TED Talks or TEDx Talks, and I want to do the same thing because I'm very passionate about it. Great question. Oh.
I've heard TED, and I've heard TEDx, and then I've heard TED and some other stuff.
Right.
What's really the difference of all that?
A TED Talk is, there's one TED event per year, one major TED. TEDx is a locally, independently owned area that you can do a TED Talk, and you got many opportunities, 1700 of those things that happen if there's only one. So you have a bigger opportunity to get on the TEDx stage than the big TED Talk. The cool thing, if you rock a TEDx talk, you can get an opportunity to go on Big TED. That's what Simon Sinek did. What Mel Robbins, the 5-second rule, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, she did a talk. And she ended up going back and doing another talk. Brene Brown's done a couple of talks. Sir Ken Robinson's done a couple of talks. You do a TEDx, you end up on TED. And that's where you may have global outreach. Great questions. Again.
Do you have a slide with all of your information on it? So we can make a copy like we did for.
No, I don't. What I do is, if you go to leverfaith.com, you can download all this. You can download all the 10 essential elements that's there. And if people, this is what I'll do, because some people don't want to be spammed. I promise not to spam you. You send it. Well, the cool thing about being a high I with ADD, I'm not going to spam you because I'm not going to go back and follow up on this stuff. But what I'll do is I'll take the PDF and I'll send it to the district and I'll let them share it, so you don't have to get an email. You can go to the district website, you can get those 10 essential elements. And what it does is it gives you the visual, but on the other side, it gives you a short description of what each one of those mean. Great question. Thanks for serving that way.
So if you have a TEDx talk,
Yes.
you get invited to TED Talk, is it to do the same speech or something different?
You would probably do a different talk or expand on that one. You know,
Same idea, but a different talk.
It could be, yes, it could be, but you could give if you get the opportunity, this is what if I had to give my talk today, not if I did, it would be much different. There's so many other things that came up, so many ideas. Mine was 10 minutes, Big TED is normally 18 minutes. And it's 18 minutes or lower. Mine was 9:52 or something like that. So I would expand it and I would give more information and I would practice more, because I know 500,000, 540,000 big deal, but there's 12 million, 20 million, there's big millions. So I want it, and it's gonna be on the internet forever. I want it to be bigger because I want it to spread throughout the whole planet. We got 2.3 million people incarcerated in this country. 2.3. I work for the Department of correction, we had 22,000. 2,000 of those people were veterans. Veterans that served in our wars, and they are in prison now. Some of them because of mental health issues, PTSD, a lot of that. So to me, that's a big push. When I first went to visit the prison, I was in a room with 100 people. 97 of them were young Black boys. I say boys because they were under 21 years old. So it's a lot of stuff. If you're passionate about something, you have an idea, there's a way to get it. I know that's not what you asked, but you could do the same speech or different speeches. You can get multiple ideas, because I know some of us will live a lot longer than others, right? So all of us have great ideas, but again, if they end up dying within us, that's a problem. One of the things I do, and I'll leave with this, is that anytime I'm building a speech or doing a presentation, I do a lot of talking in corporate. If there's a topic out there, I'll go on TED and I search for it. And many of them, there are 3, 4, 5 talks around that subject. There'll be a few things that I was looking for. There was nothing. And I was like, oh, this is important and nobody's talking about it. That might be an idea worth spreading, because it's something that I'm thinking about, that I'm doing a presentation on, but nobody's doing anything about it. Was that blue ocean, red ocean thing? A lot of blue ocean out there, a lot of ideas.
You're a Toastmaster, and now you're on TED stage.
Yes, ma'am.
Maybe yes, you may have tried TED just to challenge yourself, push yourself. It's high great. But then again, what's the difference between the two? For you, what have you noticed?
What I noticed in Toastmasters, I'm part geeky. I spent a lot of time in the military, so some of that has slipped away. I remember, is it Eddie Smalls? Eddie, I went to a presentation that he gave 8 years ago, and Eddie, really geeky gullah, he wanted to, he got it. And he was giving his presentation. He did not win, and I think a part of it because he got this accent, he got this dialect, it's not perfect diction, he doesn't articulate the language like, and it mattered. It mattered. In TED, I can stumble, I can I can The idea is the power. It's not necessarily how I present it. You have to present it well, you got to do your thing. But that wasn't as important as the message. I love Douglas Wilson, and everybody that know I love. I gave a presentation, and it was in the presentation that he said, and so he was critiquing how I presented it. And it's not his fault. That's what he does. That's what he does. So he didn't hear the message. He was focusing on the delivery. That's to me, it's not always, but to me, that's the difference between a speech and a talk. I need you to hear my heart, my feelings, my emotion, not that I was good and I can. No, I don't, that's not important. What am I saying? That's one thing. It's not 5 to 7 minutes. It can be.
There's value for both.
Say again?
There's value for both.
Oh my God.
Because you take the fundamentals you learn in Toastmasters.
Right.
How to eliminate the punch bars, eye contact,
yeah,
facial expressions, gestures.
Right.
Body language is a point to discuss one way or the other.
No, it's important. It is, but you're on the red dot here.
So if you take all that you learn in Toastmasters and apply it to something you do in TED, it will come across better than if you have.
It would be. It would. Again, but if you take TED and bring the Toastmasters, it'll be better. If you take speech coaching to bring back, it'll be better. If you take your speech that you're doing for your business or for your sermon that you do in church, you bring part of that to Toastmasters and work it, they'll polish it. To me, Toastmasters is the best organization because you get to practice in front of people, you get to see their emotions. So, but there are differences, but there's some similarities, and one strengthens the other. I could not have been successful at my talk if it was not for Toastmasters.
I think we have to remember Toastmasters too. And I think a lot of us decided this, is that there is no absolute right or wrong. Something that some people would consider wrong might be what sells.
100%. Because when I go into the prisons and talk, and when I'm talking to returning citizens, they want me talking my Georgia stuff. They don't want me to. They don't want me talking my Air Force stuff. They don't want me talking about. They want to feel. I will tell in my mind again. This is me. The thoughts and opinions of Left for Faith does not necessarily mean the same thing as Toastmasters International. I have seen us do groupthink. Telling on myself, this is how you do an evaluation. This is how you do an evaluation. If you don't do it this way, what you're doing is wrong. That's not true, but if we have group thinking, this is the only way we think. That's Bill Gold said that sameness is the death of the speaker. So what we do is everybody's the same, everybody's the same, everybody's the same. If you do something different, well, that's the person that's going to win. So I always, anytime I do something, this is just me, it may be wrong, I put a little spice on it, I put a little hot sauce on it. I do. Now, it can't be totally crazy way over there, but I do what y'all do with a little hot sauce on it, and they're like, I like it. I like it. And again, try it. If it don't work, what I love about Toastmasters, you can try it again. And you're always gonna feel good because people are gonna clap. But what we do is we get better. Again, if you decide to do a talk, I promise you, if you use your Toastmasters Club, you'll kill that talk. You will rock the talk. Captain Ahmed says it. Mark Brown is one of the coaches that I work with on this thing. It's amazing. And he teaches me things. He didn't know he was teaching me. I was just, Mark said. That's why I jumped on this opportunity. But these are things that we can do to get better in our communication and presenting, not just for corporate, not just for our club, but in our family. Because I learned how to talk to my wife and kids better by doing this stuff. It helped me. Great questions, thank you. So thank you, Nick. Nicholas has been a rock star. He's helped me out. The truth. I have a Mac, and I adjusted my thing, and I brought it here, and he was like, oops, can't work. He took it, he adjusted it, he did some magic voodoo stuff, and all of a sudden, boom, it's up there and fixed it. So thank you, bro. I appreciate it. Now I got it for Apple device and for regular PC device, and so I'm going to be good from now on. And whoever found this, I do appreciate y'all. All right, thank you very much.